Feedback.
Is that you or me?
That's me.
Okay.
You see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody in the live, man. If you guys can hear me, let me know. Sorry, we have a few technical difficulties here.
It's all good.
So let's start this thing off, man. First and foremost, my brother, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the time, man, and just hearing your story, how much you motivate people, seeing what you're doing, your life has been inspiring. So first and foremost, thank you for what you do.
Most definitely. Appreciate you for having me on, man. I'm excited to be on here. It's been excited to get on here for about a little over a month now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, thank you for having me on.
You know what's dope is when you reach out to people who are, let's call it the blue check, right? and they're not too high and mighty to reply back. You know what I mean? It definitely shows that there's still a lot of dignity and self-respect and humility in the world, man. Especially you being a God-fearing man, like you could definitely have pushed that to the side and said, you know, I got Steve Harvey to deal with, or I got, you know, Eric Thomas to deal with. But you replied to me, and I definitely am humbled by that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I look at it like this, man. At one point, I ain't had no blue check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really, what defines you as the blue check anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the blue check thing or whatever is good for certain reasons. I mean, it does keep your account secure and verified, and secure in the sense of, you know, the security purposes of Instagram or whatever, for you not to be hacked and certain things in that nature. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I'm a regular person. I put my pants on just the same way you do, man. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, blue check or no blue check, you know what I'm saying, I would have done it regardless. And I feel that, you know, I look at it like this, man. There are people out there in the world that look up to people that have a blue check, or look up to people that are on some sort of celebrity status. And when those people don't get back to them, you know, it kind of like puts a damper down on that person's image in a sense, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, I get it, because you never know who's out for what, especially when you get to a certain level. You got to be careful, and you got to guard yourself, because anybody could have any type of ulterior motive. I'm not Kanye. I'm not Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different. It's a different level. So, but I get it. You know what I mean? But for me and what I do, you know, you best believe I'm reaching back out. That's just who I am.
Yeah, man. And you're a dancer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, that's dope, because that's something we have in common, man. I've been dancing for a long time myself.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, man, because your story is well documented. Maybe some things that we've discussed on a personal level that haven't been documented, but I've been a part of the 30 for 30.
40 for 40.
40 for 40, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're right. 40 for 40. It feels like I only went 30 days because I missed a few, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I try to go as much as I could, man. And to see the lives you touched. I mean, we witnessed an atheist cry out to God. We witnessed that same atheist, her sister woke up from a coma.
Yeah.
I think just a few days after getting on the lot, right?
Yeah.
So to say that you have a voice, to say that you have a platform, is an understatement in my opinion, because you're using it for one, the kingdom of God,
Amen.
most important, and two, to spread positivity and awareness. But before you became the dancing dad that we know, how was life before that happened? I know you went through some things. I mean, I'd love for you to elaborate on how life was before you became the dancing dad.
Life before I became the dancing dad, I was a dad. Nah.
First and foremost.
Yeah. Before I became the dancing dad, I mean, I was striving for something that I thought I was supposed to be striving for. I was striving for something that, that I felt that God had for me, but it really was only for a season, and everything that I was doing really was to set me up for where I'm at today, where I'm at right now, So I grew up in Willingboro, New Jersey, which is South Jersey. But I was born in Newark, and then when I was about 5, 6 years old and everything, we came down to South Jersey, and which is like maybe like 10, 15 minutes away from Philadelphia. So more, people kind of like the Philadelphia area is kind of like where I South Jersey, Philadelphia area is where I grew up in. And, but before I became the dancing dad, man, I was, always faced with, different types of challenges, not your challenges or whatever that people that grow up in the hood or whatever normally face. My challenges were just a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was picked on as a kid. I was the skinny bull. I was, the Skeletor, for those that remember He-Man back in the day, you know what I'm saying? I was the little Ethiopian boy. I was the anorexic kid, you know what I'm saying? Because I was skinny. Like, so I always got ragged on for my skinniness. So I was the quiet guy. I was very, very quiet, very shy. People wouldn't know it or whatever. I'm a shy person or whatever, really by nature, you know what I'm saying? So really, like, I'm really just chill. And growing up throughout life, it was, to say the least, I didn't have a one of those stories where I was in gangs, or I grew up around drugs and stuff like I that's not my story. That's not my life. You know what I mean? But I faced those challenges. I faced those challenges of being bullied. I faced those challenges of covering my arms all the time or whatever, because I was ashamed and stuff like that. Was people was going to talk about me or laugh at me, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's who I was prior to that. And then becoming a dancer, dancing actually gave me my outlet. Dancing actually gave me my name. Dancing gave me, something where people couldn't necessarily, there's only but so much that you can actually say about me when it comes to dance. And in the beginning, obviously, I really wasn't that great, but I was learning, but I still was, getting busy doing my thing. And, I've had the opportunity to work with the likes of Rob Bass, Jill Scott, John Legend. I've had the opportunity to work with other artists and everything like that. So, growing up, I was, before I became a dancer, I was a dance studio owner. I owned a dance battle competition as well too. So I did a couple different things prior to becoming the dancing dad, and I was then teaching hundreds and thousands of kids all across the world, from Tokyo to Bulgaria to Italy to LA to Atlanta to New York, Chicago, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I was doing. I was just dancing pretty much before I became the dancing dad.
Okay, and you were a father while you were dancing?
I was a father. Yeah, I was a father. Okay. I was a father in many aspects. While I was dancing, I was a dancing dad or whatever to many children. But prior to that, other people's children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when I was 20 years old, actually 2021, that's when I actually became a father for the first time. And at that point in my life, I was with the wrong one. If I'm keeping it real with you, I was with the wrong one. And it was a time in my life where, you know, we're raising this young girl, and, you know, a couple years go by, and, you know, we're married, and it just ain't working out, right? Like, we've all been in situations where we've been in relationships where it just wasn't working. And this particular relationship, it really wasn't working. It was just that we was just there with each other, you know? And, you know, I guess we were trying to do the best that we can, but we really weren't. We didn't have God in the middle of our relationship at all. And we never even talked about God, to be honest. Like, you know, to be honest with you, that's the crazy part. We never really engaged or whatever with that topic. That topic was like taboo in the household at the time. And, you know, a couple years go by, you know, and I found out some things or whatever about my ex-wife that, you know, I wasn't really ready for. And when I found out, it really turned my gears into a different way. I went to a darker place at that time in my life. And I found out that the little girl that we were raising, you know, wasn't biologically mine, you know. So that's what really what catapulted me into becoming who I am today. Because it's either sink or swim, right? The average man or whatever in that situation would probably go off on that woman's head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got me raising somebody or whatever that's not even my child. You know what I'm saying? I'm spending all my money on shorty, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what type of nonsense is that?
But emotional investment, right?
Yeah, especially if you know. And then what's the crazy part is that you know. Like, when you know that she's not mine or whatever, or you claim that you didn't know, but you know for real, like, you know it could have been a possibility, at least do me the common courtesy or whatever of telling me what's going on. So then so I can make the decision on what I want to do from there or not, you know? But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That wasn't the case. And so from that point in my life, I went from being a dancer to being a husband to being a dad to then being, you know, not a dad and being divorced, and then all at the same time, my mother was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer at the same time, and then it's like, you know, it was like this trickle effect of things that were just happening, you know, and I ended up just going down this road of, you know, going with this girl and going with that girl and just looking for love in all the wrong places instead of focusing on what it is that I was supposed to be doing, focusing on my craft, and I was focusing on my craft, but I wanted to share it with somebody, I think, you know, instead of just developing it fully on my own first. Yeah.
So as all this is unfolding, that's a lot, bro. Like, that's heavy. You know, real deal Joe life. You know what I mean? Like, you have everything, and then all of a sudden, it's just in the flood, just taken from you, man. And that's heavy. That's heavy.
It's crazy.
That's heavy, bro.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, the whole story itself is just like, you gotta be there, right? And to know what was really going on in my mind. But if I can just give you like a blanket summary, it was on some, you know, I wasn't the positive man that I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like, my emotions was turned on a whole nother level. But I had enough control not to take it there. You know what I'm saying? To where it could have been a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? So fortunately or whatever, I feel like I had God on my side, and I didn't take it there, and it could have got uglier than what it was. But there was a plan and a purpose for it all, you know. And maybe it's my duty to tell this story to men that are in that situation, and men that are going through that, men that have been through that situation, because many times we hear about, from the women's side, you know what I'm saying, on what men do to women, which is unfortunate as well too. You know what I'm saying? But from a man's perspective, this happens, right? These stories don't get told as often, and men have feelings too. If I'm keeping it real, like, we got emotions as well. And if our feelings are played with, we're human as well too. You know what I'm saying? So that whole scenario, I just thank God or whatever that I didn't snap. I snapped, but I ain't snap.
Yeah, most definitely. So if you're just joining us, man, we're live with Kenny Clutch, dancing dad himself, man, motivational speaker, dancer, and we're talking about his life before becoming the viral sensation that we've come to know. I want to know, before that point, was there a defining moment or a breaking point where I have my own breaking points, but they haven't come to a point where I've made a total shift of things, right? Yeah. For me, I talk about white walls all the time.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking yesterday, I kind of brought this up to you. In my life, I feel like God puts me in front of white walls, literally, when he needs to get my attention.
Right.
Prior to having my son, I was incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't, some crazy thug and nothing like that. I tell people all the time, I'm from the streets, but I'm not of the streets.
Amen.
But then I used to tell people, and this is where it would get real hypocritical. Yeah. Right? I finished that up with be like, oh, but if you want to go there, we can go there. Mm-hmm. And that's inviting a spirit that I wasn't ready to let go of.
Right.
Is when I'm talking about my shift.
Yeah.
Right? So I was stripped of my status, my hood status, my street cred, my popularity status. I was stripped of that. I became a number. I was nothing. Mm-hmm. No one. Right? And in that time, my son was in the womb. My wife, my girlfriend and wife now, she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I needed to make a choice. Right away going in, I wasn't ready to make that choice. I was kind of testing the waters, like, can I survive this and get out and do the same things that, I was doing?
Right. Right.
It wasn't until a defining moment that I'll get into later, that we share actually, mm-hmm. that I really hit my knees and said, I need to change my life. Mm. What was your defining moment where you said, I need to change this? Because you have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You won away from the basketball team.
Yeah.
Actually, you had 5 kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So prior to your 4, you had the 1.
Yeah.
In between that time, what was the defining moment for you that said, I need to, 1, follow God with eagerness and honesty, and just conviction, and then 2, I need to do better for my legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the one that I had before, I haven't spoken to in probably 13 years. What is this? 2020. So about 12 years. It's been 12 years. Okay. No, 11 years. It's been 11 years since I've spoken to them. So you're right about the 4. Well, no, technically the 5, because today we got a dog. So I got the 5.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got the 5 now,
Yeah,
but yeah, so my defining moment, I call it, I don't call it a defining moment, I call it my burning bush moment. And for those that know what the burning bush is, if you know the book of Exodus and everything, where God came down and he spoke to Moses through through a burning bush, right?
Yeah.
And my burning bush moment was when I was 29 years old. This is about 7 years ago. I was 29 years old. I was in a place where I didn't have nothing, bro. Like I had my bank account was skinnier than me. Like that's how skinny my bank account was, yo. That John was super, super like skinny, bro. Like heavy. And I'm talking about you talking about negatives, man. I was like negative. Sometimes I was like negative $150 in there. Like I'm like, yo, it was crazy. And I was losing everything. I like jobs weren't the same. Studios were closing down. My car was about to get repossessed. The electric was about to get shut off. Like everything was going wrong. I lost my fiance at the time. We had broke up like prior to that, but at this particular time that I'm talking about, it got to a point where I was like, yo, man, this is a really, really dark, bad time, right? I had just started, no, did I just start her at the time? This was 2013. And no, this was 2014. So I had literally just started really dating my wife, who at the time she was my girlfriend, Josie, and we had just got together. We were like together a few months and everything before I had made the decision to just go back home. Anyway, I'm in my apartment and I'm just like having it out with God. Like I'm wrestling with God, like heavy, like I'm wrestling with him. And I'm losing, bro. I'm losing. I'm losing heavy. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm just losing this battle. Like anybody that's battling with God or wrestling with God, you're going to lose. So you might as well concede now. You know what I'm saying? You just might as well. And what happened was I was at a point where I had to make a decision. And sometimes in life we get to a point where we got to make a decision. And then that decision, is either going to make us or break us, right? But sometimes that decision that we make, there's one thing that's holding us back from making that decision that's going to, create more success for us. And that thing is pride, ego. You know what I'm saying? So many times in life or whatever, we get in our own way of things. So I mean, you hear me say, remove yourself to improve yourself, right? You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get in your own way of success. You get in your own way of getting to that next level. And if you don't get out of your own way, then you could fall, you could fail, you fall into your own trap, right? So my mom calls me up and she said, yo, why don't you just come back home? And my pride was getting in the way. I'm a grown man. Like, I want to come back home for it, right? I could do this. But the reality was I couldn't do it, bro. Like, the reality was that I'm clearly not doing it on my own, because if so, then I would have been doing it by now. If so, then I would have been good by now. But because of the decisions that I made, I put myself in this position, right? So the reality was, you know what? I battled with God for about 2 weeks and I went home. You know what I'm saying? I said, all right, cool. I'm going home. I'm done. I'm going home, packing it up. And I moved out, right? Moved out, went back home. 2 weeks after that, my homie calls me up. He says, yo, I'm just making sure you're okay. I said, yo, bro, what you mean? Like, I'm good. He said, nah, I'm just, because your house is on fire. So I saw that, your house is on the news. It's on fire and everything. I said, bro, I'm in my house right now. He's like, nah, bro, I'm looking at your crib right now. Your house is on fire. I said, nah, B, I'm sitting in my room right now. What you talking about? Like, my house is not on fire. He said, bro, turn on the news. So I turned on the news, and it was my old house that I just moved out of.
Wow.
That was on fire. And
God burned it down.
Burned it down.
God burned it down and build it up.
The old me was dead and buried. It was gone. It was like, yo, I'm shutting this whole thing down. Like, because I'm creating a brand new person, a brand new Kenny. That was the moment I dropped to my knees and I said, you got it. You got it, God. Like, because let me be there 2 more weeks. Let me just continue to sit there and be prideful. Let me sit there and say, you know what? No, I got it. When I don't got it, right? When I need help, when I needed to go and move forward and say, you know what? Let me just go back and reboot. Let me go back and reset. Sometimes we just gotta reset. Sometimes we got to be okay with just resetting. Sometimes we just got to get out of our own way and stop allowing pride to take over and allow God to take over and allow him to order our steps. I was just out of order, bro.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your mom's house, right? And are you, you're with Josie?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. At this time I'm with Josie.
And if I'm correct, you guys already have kids.
Yeah. So we have, so our story is crazy. So she has 2 prior, to me, you know, so, and then we have Javion, and then we have, you know, Christian, but Christian wasn't born yet. So Javion was a baby at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was the baby.
So you,
and,
Josie,
me. Yeah. So it was me, Josie, and our 2 oldest. So.
And then they just in your mom's house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think it's a blessing to have a mother that is willing to say, "Come home," you know, and you know, build it back up.
Yeah.
You know.
And let me tell you, bro, it wasn't the easiest because I think we stayed with my mom for maybe about 6 or 7 months. So, yeah, about 6 or 7 months because we moved there in like July. Yeah, so and then we moved out in January. So we stayed like the last 3rd and 4th quarter of the year. We stayed with my mom, and then January we had finally in 2015 we actually got our own apartment. So my mom gave us the grace to chill and reboot and get ourselves back in order. But it wasn't easy, man. We was in a really, really tight room. Me and Josie was sleeping on a twin bed, bro, for like 6-7 months. Twin bed, me and her, and our kids were sleeping on the couch at the time. So it was kind of tight.
To make it work.
Yeah, we had to make it work the best we can.
You guys were together.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think that's a crazy testimony in a sense of understanding the power of God and understanding that His will ultimately will be done whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right. And I find it funny that a lot of people say, and I'm saying people knowing darn well that I'm one of the people that say, you know, why is God doing this to me?
Yeah.
But then not taking responsibility for the choices I made to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm slowly becoming the man that I feel like He wants me to be.
Mm-hmm.
I still got a lot of work in progress.
Oh, we all do, bro. We all do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So your 2 oldest.
Yeah.
Which you guys have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had an episode that's on my podcast that's called "Father by Love, Not by Blood."
Yeah.
And it was specifically for father figures, and not just stepdads, but adoptive fathers, coaches, mentors, counselors. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the father figure role is more taskful and causes more detriment if done wrong in a kid's life. Because not only are you trying to prove to this woman that you love that you are a suitable father figure, but now you're trying to compete sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, depending on the situation, erase the memory of a bad father or a neglected father.
Yeah.
And you get into this relationship where it's like, you know, this woman loves you enough now to introduce you to her children.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the relationship starts over.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, now that we're in a relationship and I'm coming with my children,
right,
I need to see who you are as a father figure. So if you don't mind, just elaborating on, because I think these are dope, man. Like,
yeah.
you know, I joined the live where a homie went in and he wanted to preach that night, and I was blown away, man. I was like, wow, he's speaking some profound things for being how old he is, man.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come without the head of the household
absolutely
trickling down and being the head of the household.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is dope, man. Like, she's not your biological daughter, but you couldn't tell me that. Nobody's picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your baby, man.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, how is it?
Yeah.
For the men who are dealing with that same situation?
Yeah.
What did you have to do? What steps did you have to take to facilitate a relationship with children that didn't look like you?
Yeah.
And were searching for
a
father figure.
Be who I am. Be who God told me to be, not somebody that I'm not. Kids are going to see right through you, bro. They're going to see right through you. They're going to see you if you BSing them. They're going to see you if you are, you know what I mean, trying to fake the funk. They're going to see that, like, regardless, man. You know, so being who you are, off the rip, being authentic, be authentically you, all the time was a huge thing for me, for our relationship. I think that what helped our relationship even more is that I found a common interest with them, you know. Like my oldest, for example, before I became her dad, I was her dance dad in a sense, you know. I was her dance teacher. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the connection kind of came about. So I started teaching her dance at 7 years old. So we had already developed, you know, a relationship prior to me being her dad, you know. Was it a little weird or whatever that, oh wait, he's my dance teacher and now he's like my dad? Like, it was, you know, I believe it was, you know, it was like kind of a weird transition. You know what I'm saying? But in those moments, I took myself out of being the dance teacher and put myself in the role of being the dad, because there were moments where she needed a father, you know, and maybe her dad wasn't there at the time where she, you know, I was there to fill in. You know what I'm saying? And I tell my kids all the time, listen, yo, I'm not your biological father, but I'm your father. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm your dad. I don't want you to ever feel like you can't come to me for anything. If you need advice on whatever the case is, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And my you know, our kids or whatever, even with their biological father, we have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like me and him, like we chop it up, you know, all the time. Like he was just here for Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like regular, you know. I think what in my situation is a little bit different. People may look at this kind of crazy or whatever, what I'm about to say, but I knew my children's father, you know, my older two, I knew their dad before they knew their dad. You know what I'm saying? We actually went to the same junior high school together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we kind of grew up together in a sense, and was always cool. So we just knew, like we were just tight like that. But I didn't know that when his daughter started coming to me as my student, I didn't know that was his kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, oh snap, like this is your dad? Like, oh, this, like, you know what I mean? But even at the time, it was a couple years that went by. I was her teacher before I even became her dad. That wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until my wife, she was in a different relationship and she was married and she ended up getting a divorce before coming back home to Jersey. That's when we actually had got together, and then, you know, that relationship started to build. But as far as our relationship with the kids,
it screams what you're talking about.
You say it again?
B-boy pose. Got the B-boy pose.
All the way.
That's your daughter, like that. That's all it is, right? That's dope, man.
All the way. She know what it is, and you guys will probably see that on my Instagram, where we do dances from time to time. You know what I'm saying? We throw some stuff up or whatever.
Yeah.
but yeah, man, you know, it is, we got a special bond, a special relationship. And I think we'll all, that started with a common interest, and it started with being able to connect through, you know, the arts of dance and stuff. And then with Caleb there, you know, Caleb is the brainiac of the family, so we always talk business together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
We
yeah,
always,
I can tell that in the line,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
good thinking man, for sure.
yeah. So you know, and I never like, you know, I'm open to listening to what they got to say. You know, and guiding them in the right direction. Like I love doing that. Like they'll say something, and I just be like, ah, yeah, but what if you did it like? What if you maneuvered and did it like this or did it like that? You know, they are very, very open to hearing what I gotta say. And
Yeah.
Caleb is always coming to me with some sort of idea that he has, right? Like he's 11 years old, but he's always got an idea for something. So you know that there's a special anointing on his life where he's like, I was just telling him the other day, we had a moment, and I said, listen, man, you know, I think that because he's at this stage where, you know, little boys or whatever, they may get their emotions may be high, or they get sensitive over this or that, especially if you're the middle child. You know what I'm saying? So I was just telling him, I said, listen, man, you got to control, you know, how you say things, or you got to control your emotions. And I said, listen, you're going to be great. You're going to be, you know, I don't know what you're going to be, but you're going to be something. Like it's something is in there or whatever. But whatever it is, if you don't control your emotions and control how you express yourself sometimes, then that thing may get taken away from you. Because God is trying to speak to you right now and tell you, like, listen, bro, I'm testing you with your little brother. I'm testing you with your older sister. I'm testing you with your siblings to see how you act. See, what we do in private will dominate what we do in public, right? So we got to understand that what we do in private will dominate what we do in public. So if we are being tested even within our own family, we got to understand that what I do here is going to reflect what I do out there. And out there is where I'm going to take things to another level. But if I can't handle the things inside here, then I'm going to fail out there. So I always teach them to make sure that you guys are handling your business inside the home first, because everything that you do inside is going to reflect what you do outside.
That's dope, man. You know, and it's awesome that you say that. You know, what you do in here is gonna reflect out in public.
Yeah.
I put out recently that, and I said, it's sad that when people hear the phrase or the verse, you know, what's done in darkness will come to light. Mm-hmm. Normally, somebody's saying that because something negative happened, right? Mm-hmm. But nowhere in the Bible does it say only when you do negative stuff it'll come to light. If you facilitate good manners and you facilitate good characteristics within, you're praying in your home and you're letting God move in your life.
Right.
You're in the privacy of your home, especially with now with COVID and everything's distance learning. Kids aren't really in public anymore, especially in California. They just shut everything down again. At least in the Bay Area.
Right.
You know, but I just started going on this journey of being a stay-at-home father because I got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to raise gentlemen. I'm trying to instill confidence. I'm trying to feed their imaginations, hoping that projects out into the world.
Yeah.
So this notion that what's done in the darkness will eventually come out to light. A lot of times you hear women use that against the man who's doing them wrong, or, you know, even parents to kids. Like, if you're doing this, being sneaky is going to come to light.
Yeah.
But we neglect to realize that it's also a positive reinforcement that it comes to light at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, every professional sports team, do we really get to see them practice? You know what I'm saying? Do we get to see the Raiders practice? No. Do we get to see the Cowboys practice? No. Do we get the Lakers or the Bulls or whoever? We don't get to see them practice. You know what we see?
Yeah.
We see the result. We see what they put on game day. We see the end of the practice where they actually let the press in, and then the press is actually to capture maybe somebody shooting around and stuff like that. We're able to see that. We're able to see maybe about the 30 seconds of what we're allowed to see on Instagram or on the internet. We're not seeing what's going on the inside, right? And the results show. I mean, look at it, right? Like the Lakers just won their like 200th championship.
Something like that.
You know what I'm saying? As a franchise, right?
Yeah.
They up to like 250, whatever it is that they up to now, right? But they only get that by practicing, in darkness. And what we have to understand is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. Absolutely, what's done in the dark will come to the light. If you are cheating on your wife, or if you are, if you're doing dirty things or whatever in the dark, of course they're going to come to they're going to come to the light, but at the same time, on the flip side, on the positive side, if you're practicing hard, if you're honing in on that craft, if you're working that thing, if you're working on that marriage on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. If you're working on being a speaker on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. If you're working on being that basketball player, or you're working on being that architect, if you're working on being that archaeologist on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. And for whoever that is for, God is going to bless you in that particular group that you're supposed to speak to and show off in life. And that's just how it really works at the end of the day. So we always have to make sure that we're looking at things from a different perspective, and understand that what we do in private will always dominate what we do in public.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And to elaborate on that, even, that's kind of what the world sees, and what God sees is completely different, right?
Absolutely.
Like, the world is judging our performance.
Yeah.
God is judging practice.
Yeah.
Right? He's judging what we see, or what he sees inside us, and not what we do outside. Now, we get in trouble when we do things on the outside, but he judges the heart first, right? He judges what our spirit is, and how that's being directed, and what we're following. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's very profound.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, if you guys are just joining us, thank you, welcome. We are live with Kenny Clutch, and I'm just getting into it, man. Now, moving from your moms and having your own place, you have your two eldest, you have Javion, and there's no cap, bro. You can ask my wife if she's on here. She can even. I'm just gonna ask her if she can post it. What was the name I wanted to name my eldest son? And if she posts it, then you're gonna trip out. But you have it now too with Josie.
Yeah.
And of course, Christian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I gotta apologize because I spelled it like religion Christian on one of the posts, but I seen it, I was like, I gotta change it.
Yeah, it's all good.
I don't remember how many places I posted this, so I was looking to see where I posted it.
It's all good. It happens.
So we know Christian.
Yeah.
At least we all feel like we know Christian.
Right.
Because of the viral video. And I'm going to pull it up real quick and let people who may have, they're looking at you and saying, hey, you look familiar. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Look here. This is the famous video.
Yeah.
I'll speak on this video after this is over. But this is the one, right?
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah. He was so little.
Talking it's a lost art form.
Yeah.
Look at him.
He was in there trying to get it too. Yeah. He kept his mind stuck on, you know, the positivity, you know?
Yeah. Hey.
He was so entertained.
Man, look at him though.
Yeah. That's my dad.
Yeah. He's fascinated, bro. Like,
yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the video.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you became this viral doing the level up challenge. And I read somewhere that you didn't even know the level up challenge was a thing.
Yeah, I really didn't. I'm honest to God, I didn't even know.
Isn't it?
Say again?
In the studio, it's called Level Up, isn't it? Or Level?
My dance studio was called Level Dance Complex.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you didn't even know that this was a challenge going on,
Mm-mm.
and then all of a sudden you blow up.
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment like?
It was kind of surreal, you know, like it was on some like, wait a minute, like I never envisioned me getting millions of views off of a video before. Like I really didn't. Like, does it cross my mind if, you know, maybe one day, I guess you could say I did envision it, but it was never like a goal of mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To get a million hits on a video, because you never know what this stuff. You don't know what people really like or nothing like that. You know, like you do to a degree. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't necessarily the goal. My goal was to make sure that my son was coming out there alive, and then at the same time, can I help people along the way stay positive even during a trying time and a trying situation? Can you endure, you know, the challenge that you have going on in your life right now, and can you do it with a positive attitude? And can you do it in a way where it's not going to attack your mentality, and it's not going to take you to an even darker place? Because, you know, the reality is that my son didn't need me to be emotional. My son needed me to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? At the time, he didn't need me to sit here and be like, "Oh, boo-hoo me, dad." No, what he needed me to do was go out there and be the man that he sees me being today. He needed me to be that guy. He needed me to be that person, you know, to go ahead and lead this family to the next level. So, in terms of getting the viral notoriety and the whole viral sensation type of thing, you know, it was really just the cherry on top or whatever. Well, actually, no, I ain't even gonna say cherry on top. I think that was really like the cake batter. That was really when we started cooking for real.
Yeah.
Because now we at a level where we're reaching people, you know, more and more each and every day, and at an even greater impact with. And that was the shift in my life. It was just more so God was saying, like, all right, I'm about to put a spotlight on you real quick, you know, because I know that you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're going to do with it. I know that you're going to take this thing to another level and do what I called you to do. See, I didn't call you to dance, Kenny. I didn't call you to just dance. You're going to use this gift to make the shift. You're going to use it on a different level. You're not going to use it the way that, you know, other people use it. You know, we're not doing it for that. We're not. I don't need you to go out and dance for 30,000 people. I need you to go speak to 30,000 people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While dancing your way there to do it. So that was really like me getting like 1 million views, and then my Instagram went from like 5,000 followers to like 25,000 followers in like less than, you know, a couple hours. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy, like how it really works. And it was a feel good story, man. People wanted to feel good, and people still want to feel good, you know.
Definitely. Always.
Yeah.
So interesting. That video was sent to me a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I put in a post before that a lot of people were sending it to me because they're like, "Oh, dude, look at this dancing," you know what I mean? And he did the level up challenge, and like I said, they know me as a dancer as well. So
yeah,
the people that were sending it to me intimately were sending it to me for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
See, my son was also born with leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get a chance to dance for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was in a different place,
Mm-hmm.
you know, than you were. I know what it was like for me.
Right.
And, I'll speak on it a little bit after, but the moment you find out Christian has cancer,
yeah,
what was that like for you?
I get asked this question all the time, and if I'm being honest, I was a little numb to the situation. I didn't know what to make of it exactly just yet. The only thing that I knew that I had to do was I had to go talk to God straight up and down. There's got to be an explanation for this. There's got to be an answer. There's got to be a reason why this is happening right now. So I, once again, remove myself to improve myself, because in order to improve myself or whatever, then I'm getting that improvement from him. So I pulled myself away and I spoke. I said, God, what do you want me to do with this? I knew that I had to, my family was super important. I knew that my wife's mental was super important. My children, their mental was super important. And I think that was when I went into, I said this in an article once, I just went into quarterback mode, you know, and I got the play call from God. God, what do you want me to do before I go back into this huddle? Because I got to give them the plan and we got to go out here and execute. So the first thing I did is I talked to him and he said, yo, just set the atmosphere. Set the atmosphere. That was the first thing. No negativity is to enter the room. And if it does, you're to dismiss it. Dismiss the negativity that tries to play you. Dismiss the negativity that tries to come in. Because any type of negativity can alter the entire operation on what God is trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so stand guard while God goes in and works. You know, stand guard and watch the door. Be a watcher, you know, of who is trying to come in, because you're going to be tested in many different ways, and you have to stand firm, because I'm doing something inside your son right now, right? I'm working something in the room. And first thing I did, I talked to him, and then I went back to my family. Before an ounce of chemo even hit his body, we prayed around Christian in a circle. You know, we circled around the hospital bed. Doc, you got to hold on a second, because we got to do something first. Before you give me any type of information, I need to do this. You know what I'm saying? That's first and foremost, because I need to know that I'm preparing my mind, I'm preparing my heart for what he's about to say. And I got to be prepared for what it is, so I know how to attack it moving forward. So for anybody that needs to know, like, how do you attack these things? How do you get through these challenges, especially when you hear what we call bad news? You know what I'm saying? The first thing you got to do is set that atmosphere. You got to set the boundaries up. You got to take control, and you can't lead with emotion. You got to lead with logical thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little different, man. I found out, like I said, I was locked away, and I couldn't believe it. And I felt like that's when the apparent white walls started meaning something to me. You know, at that point, it was like God saying, all right, you want to be foolish, you want to be a father, you know, and you can't trick God, right?
Not at all.
And like I said, I wasn't ready to make a shift, you know, as you put it.
Right.
I would say it, you know, with my mouth, like, oh yeah, you know, I want to get out of here, I want to be a father. But like I said, God judges the inside, so he was like, nah, bro, you're not ready. So he was laying all this on me, and I went to a prayer circle full of criminals, convicts. But God can move in so many different ways. Yeah. You know, and I fell into like this depression while I was in there. And, you know, in that environment, you're not necessarily supposed to share food with other races and other groups. I didn't come out of myself for a while. except to use the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I came out of my cell, whether it been like the Norteños, the blacks, the others, the whites even, there was like boxes of food at my door, like, you know, we're praying for you, you know, and these are hardened criminals.
Mm.
And God can use anybody, right?
Anybody.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, God, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and I you know, as a Christian, we're called to be Christ-like, but He also asked us to have a relationship.
Yeah.
So my relationship with Him was like, all right, brother, like we're not doing this, you know, holier than thou praying. You and I need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
You know, and I just felt like Him saying, "You're not ready for that answer yet. You're not ready for the answer yet." So then I started going to church, started getting in my word, and it's funny. Even the most non-believing person will cry out to God in the most desperate times.
In the most desperate times. Right. Yep.
So you can't tell me God's not real.
Nah.
You know, I don't want to hear that.
Heavy.
I don't want to hear that.
Heavy.
You know, even people who have strayed away from the church or don't go to church, they'll even put in the chats or, you know, a comment, you know, God bless you or be blessed or I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're rocking a cross on their neck or their ear, you know, whatever. So you understand the symbolism of that in one way or another.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it is completely your choice.
Amen.
But for me, I still wasn't ready for that shift.
Right. So
another thing, our families have in common, I wasn't ready for that shift. You were making that shift.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't ready, I feel like he's like, okay, let me give you a kick in the pants.
Right.
You were already on your knees and knowing that he's a great physician, knowing he's a great healer. And he said, okay, I'm going to test you.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. So we're both tested for different reasons, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Same result.
Yeah.
Christian also is Trisomy 21.
Yes.
For those who don't know what that is, it's Down syndrome.
Down syndrome. Yep.
My son is also Trisomy 21, Down syndrome.
Right.
So here we are, two dancing fathers. You know, it's worlds apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Other sides of the country.
Other sides of the country.
Yeah.
You don't know me, I don't know you.
Right.
But I told you over the phone, it's funny how people say we all got a twin in the world.
Yeah.
They don't ever, that's always a physical appearance. Like, oh, bro, somebody look like you.
Mm-hmm.
But never somebody's going through your same exact situation.
Yeah.
And you need to see how he's handling.
Yeah.
You need to see what God is doing or what God can do in his life.
Yeah.
Now, my son is older than Christian.
Yeah.
So mine was, you know, my situation was first.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got home and you went viral, your video was sent to me so many times, bro, that I was like, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I reposted it. I've seen it, you know. But I always get the same reaction when I see Christians start dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
I always feel this sense of joy, this sense of peace. And then I feel like when I seen him, I think I even commented on one of your videos a long time ago. And I said, hey, my son made it out. Your son will make it out.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes we need a visual representation.
Yeah.
You know, in the body of Christ, you know, we're just supposed to have blind faith.
Yeah.
But sometimes God knows we're doubting, right? And then sometimes he'll send like a sign or he'll send something symbolic. And you were that symbol for me. So, you know, that for me, it doesn't get any stronger, any deeper. My affection for you and your family can't be anymore.
Amen.
You know, because you really got me through a personal time.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
dope.
So Christian having Down syndrome, and cancer. How is this affecting the family right now? Your kids especially.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. My kids are super strong. I ain't even gonna hold you. We actually recorded something a couple weeks ago to do an update on them. You know, How are they feeling? How have they dealt with the situation? What were some of the things that they went through? And we're going to release it soon, but it's more so to help the other siblings, help siblings that may be going through it. And they were super, super strong in the situation. They, you know, they really didn't have any, like, they just knew that he was going to be okay. That's the type of mentality they had, you know? And it made me happy as a dad, because it's like, they don't see dad worried about, you know, anything, you know, and that's not to say that I don't worry. I just don't worry in front of them. You know, I don't show my emotion in breaking down, you know, in front of them for the most part. And they were super, super. I think Javion was the most emotional one, because he couldn't stay at the hospital with me and Josie. So that part, you know, and then other than that, I mean, my kids were sleeping on the air mattress the entire summer. That wasn't the most comfortable thing, I bet, you know, but I had to be there, you know, for my son as well too. He needed his dad at the hospital as well. So we were fortunate enough to have a huge support system of people in our family that were able to help us along the way, and not, you know, we weren't alone in the situation. So, nah, man, my kids they were all in, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. They were all in. They knew what was going on. We're always very transparent with them, and we always let them know what's the real deal. We don't really hide things from them at all or anything like that. So it was amazing to see their strength, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I didn't really know what was going on, because when I found out about everything my son was going through,
right,
I was just in jail, and then as everything started unfolding,
I mean, that's got to be tough in itself. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, like your son is battling cancer, and then you're locked up. Like, that's another level.
The next day, bro, I went and I asked them what I could do. Like, I asked the cops or the guards, which, by the way, worked is he told, or the guards told me, your cell is open all night. You got free range to the phone. Because when they told me, I broke down and I was like convulsing, and you know, the only thing I could do was like hobble to a prayer circle. But then they see my face, and naturally when they see, you know, some type of emotion, they call you over, ask you what's going on, and I explain to them, and you've seen the somber from them, and then they told me they came to my cell because I wasn't coming out, and they think you got free range to the phone. The phone is on. You can call home. Don't abuse your privilege. Sorry. And so that was a blessing. I was able to call home as much as I could, you know. And even the other inmates were like, "Yo, don't touch that phone because it's the one closest to his cell." Like, you know, and it was crazy to watch how God touched all these people to let me know in a dark place. You feel me now?
Yeah.
Like let's go. You see what I can do?
Yeah.
You know, but as things were unfolding, I was just
there's
in jail.
Yeah, there's no prison that man can build that God can't break into.
Oh man, ask Joseph, you know,
you know,
Paul, you know what I mean?
Straight up.
Ask them all, man. They all been locked up.
Yeah,
you know?
Heavy.
But as everything started unfolding, the chemo and, you know, all the information was now bombarding my girlfriend then, wife now. I got moved to prison. We out here, because of San Quentin, we call it, I had to go across the water. You know? And I didn't get my mail for like a month and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm writing home, not getting anything back. This is my first time ever being locked up, not knowing that this is the process. So now I'm writing letters like, how come you ain't writing? You know, what's going on? You know, and then I'm finally getting letters back. you know, from like my mom and, you know, my lady, and I'm seeing these letters first, and I'm seeing like, you need to take my kid to, you know, Christmas to see my parent, you know, my mom and my family. You need to go do this. Not understanding everything my wife was going through at the time, and not understanding that they couldn't find a vein, so they were poking them in the forehead.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Not understanding that these chemo sessions were taking a toll.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a champ? I call my wife my biggest flex. I always call it that's my flex.
Heavy.
You know what I mean?
Heavy.
And I say that because she handled everything like a champ.
Yeah.
She didn't break down until I was able to come home, and she was able to say, "I trust you enough, you know, to handle this, because, you know, at moms, they have a certain way they do things.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of deviate from the system, they kind of get a little like, oh no, I don't do it that way, you know, especially when you haven't been there.
Right.
So for her to trust me and say, okay, this is your baby, you know, you do what you want to do. We're going to make this happen. And then finally she was able to say, I need to cry. You know, I need to hurt. I need to process everything that just happened, because I haven't been able to. I had to be the strength. You know, thank God for, you know, my mother-in-law, because she was the surrogate father. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even for her, it was kind of hard for her to let go, you know, when I got home. So it's like, who are you? You know, you left my daughter, you know, you left for her other family members, you left my niece, you left my sister to deal with this alone. Yeah. Who are you? So I had a lot of proving and showing up to do. Yeah. But it was in the confines of that cinder block reality that I made the choice to make a shift. That I knew when I got home, I was going to do whatever I had to do to provide by any means. You know, legally, ethically, and morally. You know, and continue to progress spiritually. Amen. And then understanding what Down syndrome is all the world, bro. Yeah, absolutely. You know, absolutely. I say my son got a superpower. Absolutely. It's kind of unfair. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they love like no other. Yes. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I call my son the vibe. Yeah. You know, people reach out all the time and ask me how the vibe is, because I call them that on my podcast. Yeah. You don't like any bad vibes. And I wish I could love without abandon like that. Amen. I wish I could trust wholeheartedly. I wish there was no bearing on how much I'm able to give, because when my son gives, he gives it all. Amen. And I wouldn't trade his condition for anything. Be honest. I said the same thing. You know, I really wouldn't. Yeah. I know what comes with it, but if God gave it to him, who are we to take it away? Right. You know what I'm saying? I like. Yeah. And this we have to understand that in life, you know, God gives us things for a certain reason. To take that away, it's like disrespect or a slap in the face to God, in a sense, you know. Yeah. So I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. What I do is I yearn to understand what this is even more. Yeah. Yeah. Because I want to help others, right? And this is real diversity if we really keeping it a buck. You know, people that can love differently, they speak differently, they talk differently, they act differently. I mean, it may be a boring world if everybody had 46 chromosomes, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it may be pretty boring, you know, if you didn't have, you know, a few 100,000 here or a few million here that had that extra chromosome gene. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And extra chromosome dopeness, I call it. Facts, right? Facts. But in everything that you're saying, you know, it's like we gotta trust them.
You know, we gotta trust them. I was it was funny story today. My wife and I were driving through central Pennsylvania. We were in Philly going to central Pennsylvania to pick up our new puppy, and she was telling me how, how much stress that she has, and sometimes my wife may get some sort of anxiety and stuff like that, nervous about certain things in life. And we've been through a lot. I mean, we lost 65% of our income. We lost our dance studio last year in 2019. Our house was up for sale for over 18 months, and we just became homeowners. So praise God for that. But the struggle, what I'm saying, of things. There it is. The struggle of what it was to get there, right? And I told her this. I said, babe, what's crazy is that in 2021, we're going to be married 5 years, right? But we're going to be together for 7. And 7 is that number of completion, right? Yep. And I was like, yo, think about this. I think that this next year coming is going to be something amazing for our family. And I truly believe that. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe that. I get it. 2020 was kind of a crazy year for many people. But I just believe it, right? And we just sitting there just chatting, having a conversation. It's like my best friend, right? And as I'm saying this, I just say we got to just continue to stay focused on what God wants us to do. We got to stay focused on the purpose that He has for us. And it's going to show up. The challenges that we have, are going to be a lot easier to take on because of what we had to endure the last 7 years. And as I'm saying this, bro, as I'm saying it, a car is driving up and jumps up in front of us, and the license plate says, "Trust him." Literally. And we're like, yo, like, if God could speak through a donkey, He could speak through a car.
Man, definitely, or a license plate.
Or a license plate. And it was, and some of us out here, we make it harder than what it really is. We make it harder than what it may seem. We add too much stress and too much pressure to us. And through a license plate, God is saying, yo, I'm giving you the license to move forward. I'm giving you the license to go ahead and do what it is that I called you to do. I'm giving you that authority. And on that license, it says, trust Him. Right? Yeah. So you have a license to go out and be great. You have a license to go out and do something amazing for the will of God, for the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? You have the license to go out and serve the people the way that you're supposed to. You have the license to go out and change the world around you. You know what I'm saying? The question is, are you going to utilize that license?
You going to get in the car?
You going to get in the car? You going to drive it?
That's it.
You going to put some gas in it? Let's go.
I think it's beautiful that you... The mind of someone who believes God, we see things differently. Mm-hmm. Because if I tell the average person, oh yeah, we've been together 7 years, the thing they talk about is the 7-year itch. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But you tell a Christian, or you tell someone who is working on their marriage actively, and who also believes, you tell them, oh, we've been together 7 years. And then they think completion. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. And a lot of people don't put those things together like that. And I think you definitely have the gift to help other people understand. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily where they're going, but at least guide the steps that they need to go. Yeah. They need that direction. Yeah. Right? You just talked about having a license and the car. Mm-hmm. You have the gift that people are going to follow that car. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's important, me coming from a music background, mm-hmm. a lot of people have asked me, why don't you sing in church? Mm-hmm. And I used to tell them all the time, like, well, the music I do. I don't want somebody to see me in a club one night and then see me in church the next day and then be the cause of them to think that this is fake.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be the best image of Christ people see, right? And we're not supposed to deter them from the love of God. So people see me and they think hypocrisy, then I don't want that on my conscience, right? So for you to be able to say, this is me, this is my family, live it in the confines of your house, especially during 2020.
Yeah.
And now branching into 2021, we have the All In Summit.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Now you're publicly doing what you do on your lives.
Yeah.
Right? You're publicly sharing the love and the word of God, but not just God, but business.
Yeah.
Understanding financial stability and independence and responsibility.
Yeah.
And, helping people guide their steps to chase that dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's amazing because, like I said, it's a trickle-down effect. When I look at Christian, that's exactly what he's doing without words. You know what I mean? Like that's amazing, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's building legacy, building something that's gonna outlast you. That's the mission. That's the goal. What does that look like? Right?
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is start asking ourselves some real questions here. What does it look like to do something that's going to outlast myself? What does that look like? What does that look like for you? What does it look like for the people that's watching us live right now? What does that look like, right? And let's take a cold hard look at the facts and what are we supposed to be doing? I mean, are you supposed to work at Chick-fil-A for the rest of your life? I mean, are you supposed to be working at the supermarket for the rest of your life? Are you supposed to be pumping gas are you supposed to be an Uber driver the rest of your life? You know what I'm saying? What does that really look like? Yeah. And if you are, then fine. But what is the purpose inside of it? You know what I'm saying? If you are supposed to work at Chick-fil-A, what's the purpose inside of it? Who are you supposed to be speaking to at Chick-fil-A? Right? Who are you supposed to be, or are you supposed to go ahead and build that business that you've had this idea for 10 years and you've just never done it, right? Or are you supposed to go ahead and start that blog? Or are you supposed to go out and take the risk, right? The problem is that many people are scared, worried, complacent. Oh, I just want a regular job. Oh, I just want a regular 401k. When that 401k probably ain't going to last you that too much longer, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, because the way the world is changing right now, the 401k plan is a failed plan. Like for real, you know what I'm saying? You could inflation or whatever is a different type of beast. It's a different type of animal. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say? I mean, listen, Solomon said it best. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, don't just stop at 8, go to 9. Don't just stop at 9, go to 10. Continue to invest in certain things in life so that you get a return on that investment. So that you ship your grain across the sea and then it comes back to you or whatever 100-fold, 200-fold, whatever the case is. So with the business aspect of it, we're talking about our faith. Because number one, we got the source. Then we're going to talk about our family. We're going to talk about building that career, building that business, right? We're going to talk about your health, right? We're going to talk about these things. And I'm bringing people to the forefront to give off the information, because the reality is we can stay on Instagram all day and we can motivate and we can pray all day, but they don't mean nothing unless we actually not putting in no real work to go to the next level at the end of the day. So if we're committed to going to the next level in our lives and truly shifting, right? I mean, you're on there. People are going through depression, anxiety. Some people going through suicidal thoughts. Some people are going through health issues, financial issues, all these things or whatever. The question is, do you really want the change or not? Do you really want to get to the next level? Or are you going to sit here or whatever and sulk and complain about it? You know what I'm saying? Yes, we're going to pray for it. Yes, we're going to go all in. Yes, we're going to continue to to do these things, but at some point in time, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work yourself as well too. God is going to sit there and challenge you. Okay, you've been praying about this and you've been praying about that, and I've had Kenny come on here, over 100 times and sit here and give you guys what you need. Are you going to move?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I tell my workers, and I tell people all the time, especially when they ask about relationship stuff, it's a thin line between comfortability and complacency. Yes. And that line is called effort. Yeah. Once you stop putting forth effort, you get complacent. Yep. When I think about a comfortable sports player, I think about Larry Fitzgerald. He's comfortable in his position, but he excels every year in something. Right? In something, right? He's always progressing one way. And it doesn't even mean it has to be on the field. It means the Walter Payton Award. It means the best team player award, whatever that's called. Or it's on the field, right? Whether it be touchdowns or whether it be yards. And I'm not even an Arizona Cardinals fan. Yeah, me neither. But I love Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. Because he's the most consistent player that I've ever seen. For years. And he's comfortable in that system. Right? He knows it like the back of his hand. And because he knows it and he's comfortable in it, he doesn't mind going somewhere else. He doesn't mind playing the X. He doesn't mind playing the Y. Yep. He doesn't mind staying in and blocking if he has to. Right? You get these people who are complacent that say, I'm going to put in my 8 and go home. Yep. Yep. And I'm willing to stay after practice and run a few more laps, shoot a few more free throws. Right? So I think the effort that we need to continue to put forth, especially since this is a podcast about fatherhood, is continuing to be better fathers by reaching out to other fathers like I'm doing here with you and like I do to other dads to sharpen these tools. My favorite tagline I say at the end of every podcast is iron sharpens iron. Amen. Some days I'm the sword and you're the spinning wheel. Other days you're the spinning wheel and I'm the sword. Amen. Right? And we need each other in order to navigate this fatherhood journey. Amen. And sometimes we can't talk to our wife. Sometimes you might not be able to talk to Josie. Sometimes I can't talk to my wife because she's not a father and she's not a man. Yeah. And then there's some things that I'm like, I don't want to tell her because I don't want to seem weak. Or I don't want to seem too vulnerable. So you reach out to another dad who may be going through something. And you guys continue to build these communities. Once I started this podcast, I joined all these dad communities, and I've seen how much support there really is for dads. But the effort is tapping into all of them. Yeah. Right? Tapping into a source. Maybe not, you should tap into the source, obviously, but he's put these sources around you to build what you need. Yeah. Whether it be your fatherhood journey, whatever the case may be. It took me breaking my leg and my ankle this year to start this podcast. Like I said, I have a musical background. So I thought, that's my calling. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm good at it. And I can write, I can sing, I can dance. I'm supposed to be the next Usher, because Usher was my Michael Jackson. And we discussed it before, right? Yeah. The era that I'm born in, Usher's my Michael Jackson, right? And so, for me, I'm holding on to this image of what I think I'm supposed to do. Yeah. And again, I broke my leg. I got ran over. I broke my leg, my ankle, completely immobile. They call it temporary, totally disabled. Right. Right. Bedridden. Right. White wall. Right. Now I'm looking at this white wall, and I'm being challenged. Right. And then I go down this hole, like, I don't know the kind of father I am. I don't know the kind of man I am. Right. I'm not making the money. No one's calling me boss. Right. And mind you, and for people who are on here who have listened to the podcast, this might be a rehash, but mind you, I got hurt 5 days before the lockdown. So not only am I not making money, not only am I losing my status once again, my wife is out there with the toilet paper snatchers.
Right.
And if something happened to her, I physically cannot get out. I mean, I would do everything in my power to do so.
Right.
But I physically cannot get out of this bed. Mm-hmm. So every time that door closes, I know she's leaving out there and she's in some form of danger. So I felt like God was saying, what do you want to do? Who are you? Can you tell me who you are? But then I had the devil telling me, I'll tell you who you are. You ain't this, you ain't this, you ain't this, you ain't doing this, you ain't providing. You're nothing, you know? Right. And your kids don't even want to be around you. The vibe, my other son, like I said, I call him the vibe because he don't like bad vibes. They had to relocate downstairs. He didn't even want to be in the same area of the house as me. Right. Because he didn't want to hear me wincing. He didn't want to see me crying. He didn't want to see me in pain. So now my wife is going up and down the stairs every 4 hours to give me medicine. My son don't want to see me. Now I got to explain to my soon-to-be 2-year-old at the time why daddy can't play with you. Right. You know, why daddy can't throw the ball, why I can't jump up and dance with you like we were just doing a few days ago. You know? And he doesn't understand why. He just understands what. Right. The what is dad won't play. Right. You know, how do you convey that? So when I started this podcast, the devil definitely was telling me, like, you ain't even the dad that you're trying to describe in your podcast. Now, I mean, I've been a very involved father, a very loving husband, but what I was trying to convey to the people in my podcast, I wasn't even fully that person. So then I had to shift my thought. Right. Instead of saying I have all the answers, which I would never say in the first place. Right. I was asking for answers. I was saying, this is what I'm dealing with, and being completely transparent and vulnerable. And then hoping that I would get answers back. Yeah. But it wasn't until I started waking up with my wife every morning and reading the Bible and getting stronger in our word that I started feeling like my passion and my purpose have aligned. You know, I grew a passion for this, and my purpose is to reach out to men that are struggling with the same things I'm struggling. Dope. And I think it's growing, but there's more steps and shifts that I need to make. Yeah. There's more all in that I need to go. Amen. So that's what this is all about, man. And I think the last question I'm going to ask you, man, I know it's late your time, but what do you hope men, women alike can take from your story, your testimony? Truth, love, transparency, and an openness that allows you to be able to share with the world, you know, your authentic self, your story that can help so many people and lead them to where God truly wants you to go. And when I speak truth and when I say love, I'm speaking in terms of doing it in a sense that this is what God truly wants you to do. Yeah. Because many times we get it misconstrued. Many times people will say that this is what God wants me to do, but that's not the reality. It's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And we go on this tangent of, no, I heard from God, but did you really? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because then you have questions like, you know, would God tell you to do that? Would God tell you to act like this? Would God tell you to act like that? Would God tell you to live in this type of life or this behavior or whatever the case may be? Would he? You know, according to the Bible that he wrote or whatever, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? So what I hope for is that people see truth, they see love, they see transparency, but more importantly, they also see, you know, a will to win and a will to never give up
You know, I always say it all the time. Like when we change the mind, we change the game. You know, there's
Yeah,
1,000. Yeah, there's 1,440 minutes in a day, and there's 1,440 opportunities to be successful. But at the same time, we gotta understand that yesterday is gone, tomorrow will worry about itself, and today is all we got. And if today is all we got, then you need to impact today the best way that you know how. Right?
most definitely.
It's a known fact that there's 23,000 breaths within one day, and in my personal opinion, that's 23,000 blessings, that you're receiving just in one day. Now you do 23,000 times how many days that you've been living, and that's how many times God has been blessing you just in one day, in one area of your life. You know what I'm saying? So what I do hope for is that people see the value of their life even more, and see how you can truly, or see how God has truly blessed you with, life and breath, because you never know when's the last day.
Yeah.
And if you don't know when the last day is, then you have to live out every single day, not as it's your last, but as in, this is all I got. I don't have tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have right now. I have this moment. I don't want to go forward and not go full throttle with what I got. You know what I'm saying? Like I have this. This sounds kind of crazy. I got this Tupac / Jesus type of mentality, and what I mean by that is, Tupac, before he died, he was just spitting bars and spitting bars and spitting bars. And he was in the booth and he was spitting bars. He was like, yo, engineers, y'all can cut it, mix it, do whatever it is that you got to do later. I got to get these songs out. I got to get these rhymes out because I ain't got time for that, right? On the flip side or whatever, with Jesus or whatever, when he started his ministry, he was 30 years old and he had 3.5 years to change the entire world. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have time to mess with old heads or whatever, people that was older than him. He went out and got some young bucks or whatever that went ahead to do what it needed to do, so that they then can write what it is, and now we're at a point where, we don't have time to waste. We got to go and we got to do it now. So my prayer is for those people to go out and do it today. Start right now. Don't wait till 2021, because you don't even know what's going to happen in 2021. You got right now. There's nothing wrong with planning, but you got today. So whatever you was going through yesterday, fix that thing, because today is a brand new day.
Oh, that's powerful, bro. That's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, man, I know it's late, and I hope we can do this again, maybe run a part 2.
I appreciate you having me on.
I definitely appreciate your time.
Mm-hmm.
My family and I, we got mad love for yours.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're going to continue to keep this shit moving.
Let's do it.
Tell them where they can find you, man, and tell them about your summit coming up.
Listen, guys, you guys can find me on Instagram at KennyClutch_. I don't really bang with Twitter that much, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a Twitter guy, but you can hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can also find me on YouTube. Kenny Clutch Speaks on YouTube or on Facebook. In All In January 16th, the All In Virtual Summit. We've got myself, we have AJ Ellison, we have my wife Jocelyn Thomas, who's going to be speaking. We have Pastor Edgar Alvarez, we have Kevin Knox, we have Bryce Johnson, and also Meg King. So it's going to be an amazing event. It's not going to be like your regular Zoom call, guys. We talking about a production. We talking about giving you guys something special. We talking about giving you some bang for your buck. Right now, I'm telling you. So right now, the retail price, guys, is $197. But if you sign up between now and Christmas, you're getting in for $57. $57. Retail price right now is $197. But if you sign up right now and claim your spot right now for All In 2021, you guys get in for $57. We're going all in on your faith. We're going all in on your career. We're going all in on your family. We're going all in on your health. We're going all in on your finances. We are going all in on your wellness, everything. You know what I'm saying? We going all in. If 2020 has taught you anything, it's that you need to go all in on everything, no matter what. So January 16th, go to my website, www.kennyclutchspeaks.com for your tickets. Click on that. Click on the events tab and go ahead and get your tickets. Get them tonight. Get them right now. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All in.
All in.
Most definitely. And you guys know me, JC with the hashtag That Swag Podcast.
Real quick before you finish, man, I got my man Wild Child is on in the chat, man. My man Wild Child, salute to my dude. You know what I'm saying? Wild Child and everything. Like my man, his son plays on Blackish. So I wanted to just shout him out and everything real quick.
Salute to you then, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, again, thank you so much. This is hashtag That Swag Podcast. You already know iron sharpens iron. Until next time, love and blessings to you and yours from me and mine. And we out.
One love.